Hi Green Team, it's Christy. Thank you guys so much for a great Easter week. We saw God move in amazing ways, and we were able to tell everybody that came about Jesus in a new and fresh way, and we had a great response. I hope you enjoyed your Easter. If you were here serving with us, thank you so very much. We're at week number 4 in learning about humility, April 23rd. And this week, we're going to be picking up in the book of Matthew in chapter 28, and I'd like to read you exactly what it says. It says Matthew 28 verses 16 through 20. Then the 11 disciples left for Galilee, going to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some of them doubted. Jesus came and told his disciples, I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I have given you. And be sure of this, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. I love this part of the story. And a lot of times when we teach Easter, we forget to add the last part where Jesus comes back. He's fully God, proven to everybody that he was fully God. And then he calls the disciples close to him, and I'm sure that they were expecting him to come in and say, all right, this is our kingdom. We're taking it over now. I am king. I am ruling over this place. And he doesn't. He didn't do that at all. He came to the disciples and he said, go and make disciples. Do you think they paused for a minute? I would imagine they did. That wasn't at all what they were expecting. But he said, go and tell everyone about Jesus and be like Jesus for the rest of the world. What a whirlwind. Have you ever been in the middle of so much chaos? The disciples had been in the middle of so much in this last week that I can really relate to that. I'm actually coming out of a season where where I feel like we have lived in the middle of chaos and tragedy for at least 4 months. But in the middle of all of that, through all of my prayers, God was able to show me through some trusted teachers that even though the chaos isn't gone and the worries of the day are not gone, I can rest in knowing what he has done. And he came and he conquered death so that we could have a relationship with God. What did we learn the last few weeks? We learned when Jesus we walked with Jesus through all the times where he humbled himself in his last week and served the disciples. He washed their feet. He prayed for them and with them in the garden, even when they fell asleep. He took the punishment and the beatings that all of us deserve because of all the bad things we do, and he died on the cross so that we could have a relationship with Jesus. What did Jesus, do you think God was going to leave the disciples alone? Do you think Jesus thought that God was going to leave the disciples alone? He knew that he had done everything to prepare them, and then he even tells them, and I will be with you to the very end of the age. God does that. He doesn't leave us in the middle of our yuck so that he can just walk away and do his godly kind of things. He meets us right where we are and helps fill us with his hope and his joy and his radiance. Through this lesson, we want kids to realize that they have an important role in God's one big story. If we can help kids realize that even at their age, they can go and make disciples. They don't have to be Miss Christie. They don't have to be you as a leader in a small group. They can go tell people about Jesus now. And the way they do that sometimes makes people follow Jesus even more, because they are excited about the big story. He sends all of us out too. What an adventure every kid's life is going to be when they grasp that it is up to them to help people know about Jesus. Not the church's job, not Pastor Mike's job only. It is our job as the church to help people know and believe and follow Jesus. We'll help them. We'll always be there to help them, just like Jesus assured the disciples, I'm going to be there. You're not going to be out there alone. I will be there with you. We will help them, but God calls all of us to go and tell. So let's get into your baskets today. All month, your opening activity has been creating this kingdom. I hope you're enjoying your creations, and I can't wait to see them at the end of the month. You'll get the chance to continue your creation. You have your big poster paper, and you can keep drawing on that. If you want new paper, let us know. We'll be happy to get you some new paper. I'll be looking at all the papers, and if it looks like you need some extension onto your paper, I'll add that for you so that you guys can keep growing your kingdom, and I can't wait to see how they turn out. This is for kindergarten, first, and second graders. We'll head to large group. Remember, you can look at your discussion guide, your leader guide, and look at the discussion questions before we go into large group. It's a great way to learn how to engage kids in that discussion when you get back. All right, and so your application activity this week could be a little bit of a stretch, but I think it's going to be really fun to do with kids. You have this map, and on this map is written the word humble in a few different languages. And so what would be fun is if you look on here and you try to pronounce some of these. I'm going to try to. Let's try this one. Unjuk is right here. That's supposed to be humble in, I'm assuming, Swedish or Finnish. And so if you have a smartphone with you, it'd be really fun to type that word into your Google Translate and let the kids hear what it really was supposed to be, but see if you can get everybody to figure out what it might be anyway. You can turn your speaker up and let the kids listen, and have them repeat after the Google Translator on your smartphone. Kids can color this map when they're all done. And then you can extend this activity if you want to, if you are good with maps. You can help label what all the countries are and where these languages come from. You could label the oceans. It's just a good way to help kids understand that what we do right here in Victoria, Texas, is relevant even way over here in China. And it's also a great time to tell a personal story of how you learned about Jesus. Were you in Texas, in Victoria, Texas, when you heard about Jesus for the very first time? Where did you live? Can you show that to them on the map? Did you tell anybody when you lived in a different place, possibly, if you haven't always lived in Victoria? Have you ever told somebody else about Jesus? Where was that, and how did you have to describe that to them? And how can kids think about others who might need to hear about Jesus? It may be in their hometown. It may be that God has something bigger for them and will take them out of their hometown to share Jesus with somebody. Help the kids process how they might be able to tell somebody else about Jesus, and use that. Help, they could write it on their paper or however you want to do that, so that they can go home and tell mom and dad about all of those things. Maybe even they can talk about the friend that they brought on Easter weekend. All right, so all month we've had this duck verse activity with your cute little duckies in your basket. Each ducky has a number on the bottom of it. The ducky, those numbers are just to separate into groups. And so if getting duckies out and having everybody play with the duckies is chaotic for you and that's not working, feel free to leave the duckies in the basket. You don't have to pull the duckies out. You're just going to separate everybody into different groups. Group 1 is going to have one section of the memory verse. Group 2 is going to have another section of the memory verse. And group 3 is going to have another section of the memory verse. And this week it may be fun just to mix that up and not do it in 1, 2, 3 order. You give group number 3 the first section or something like that. Just as a fun way to mix it up for the kids. And for your prayer activity this week, you're going to have a bag of Skittles, just like this. We use Skittles because of food allergies. There's less kids allergic to this than there are to the M&Ms that it calls for in your lesson. And so if you read through the lesson and it says use brown or something, obviously Skittles don't have brown colors until we mix them all together. But you can use one of the colors that is in your bag. You can give each kid just a few Skittles in their hand, and then you're going to use those colors of the Skittles to help pray for different people. The red is for people who live in other countries, orange is for people who are sick, yellow is for friends who don't know Jesus, green is for people in our country who don't know Jesus yet, purple is for people who are less fortunate, and if there's a color that we missed, you can make up something else that you pray for those people. And it would be nice if the kids would, as you mention those things, like, okay, we're going to pray for the red things now. Maybe each kid in your group would be willing to say a little prayer for whatever they are thinking of that fits those colors. And then when it's all over, they can eat their Skittles if they don't have food allergies that prevent them from doing that. There's a prayer guide in your leader guide. You'll pass out your God times as parents are coming to pick up the kids, and encourage the kids to keep praying for the people this week, for them to continually think about somebody that they can share Jesus with. My leader tip for today is this might be a kind of hard lesson for some kids. They are having a hard time focusing on all of this not being just about them. So, as much as we can help them understand that Jesus' Great Commission was not just for the disciples, it was for all of us. We can pray with them and for them and pray that God reveals His truth to them and that He'll help them be creative in how they communicate and help friends find ways that they can serve by telling others. I encourage you to possibly start praying as soon as you watch this for the kids in your group, that God opens their heart to hear this message today. I believe with all of me that all kids really want the opportunity to share. It just may take us a little longer to let that sink in. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Love to hear your feedback. Call or text me anytime if you have questions. I'll see you soon. Bye.